Poa. Bepanda na huyu jamaa gari kukaa. Tulikuwa na wakali watatu. Sasa akasikia huyu ringtone yake ni national anthem. Akapigiwa. Kipigiwa tunaona wakale wanasimama. Kitu fani watu wanangoja kuvalishwa medal. Nafakari hayo.
Let me speak about Nisha pigwa na butwa. Let me speak about
Okay. My life. I've opened another page. I'm standing this stage. Need to lock off my cage. Everything I have, you don't know how to manage. But we are not even able. No food was there. No need of clearing the table. Mom and dad hustle. They lit the bring. That is what always kept us stable. Our friends laughing at the game. Always give them. Close my eyes. Everything this a fairy tale. Hell no, ain't fun to tell. This is just a misery thing of this, but it feels so dizzy. I always tell myself this is a lie. When I go back home, I found things fine. But this soon is all my life. I try to write it on my line. Living in a house, you don't know what's next. The landlord came knock to the door, asking for different houses. But I thank God, never live in a tent. I'm seeking salvation because the God of transformation. Raise the one to give me information each and every day, getting motivation. Living addiction, meditation, temptation. No standing for the consolation. I'm seeking the one, the know is the one, tool. What is your tool? Don't get fooled, because it's the truth. I'm feeling confusion, maybe it's an addiction. Time to go to bring up a final conclusion. My name is Bryson. I always had this in mind. That you never someone trying to pull me down. I always get up, strong, like my Tyson. Because I back them like a python. God with the glory, but not get typhoid. Where I'm from, Martin Tan, police a bomb. I'm here to see a phone. Life in the court, deadly, classic, my day. But I thank God. Subuti. Subuti, Becky. To me, I'm just a taking me a getty. You feel like it. You're a steady, read me. Not a come on, Becky. Was a good on my dance. And then you got shoulders bent. This is my life. I'm writing this line. I'm putting like a rhyme. But in God, I'm satisfied. Find all up in the ways. So I pray every day. Find all these great. I never come too late.
sometimes me no wonder about how amazing you love. Hata nikifanya blanda nikuona niko msamba. Sometimes me no wonder about how amazing you love. Hata nikifanya blanda nikuona niko msamba.
enjoyed that performance. I think you guys were Rikwana Energy. What's your name? No, him, yeah.
Me, Bryson.
Brighton.
Bryson.
Bryson. Okay, so let me start with you because you're the one who started. I like your rap. I think it tells a story from what I could hear. I think sometimes you lose the beat, and then it was so long. Is there a way you can like break it? Like you do the first part, Ali enters, you continue later. Because at first I was like, oh cool. Then it was like, oh wow. Oh, okay. So like if you break it, not badly, just like for capturing the audience's attention long enough, yeah? And what are you gonna do when Ali is singing? Because you were awkward. When it was your time, you owned it. But when Ali was singing, it's like you're looking for where you'll go hide. So figure out what you're gonna do around the stage and then move back a bit, let Ali move around. Because remember when you were rapping, he was just on this side, he let you own the stage. So give him the same space. Bruno, you were awkward in the beginning. Don't show us your awkwardness. Me, I don't know. So you don't have to show me that you're not sure. Because I can still see you as much as it's their show. Yeah. Ali, I like your confidence. I like how you spoke to the audience. I think I'll let the rest add for your corrections or whatever.
Yeah, just one thing, like the audience, do you guys realize that the drummer of this band is only 16 years old? Are you 17 now? Oh, okay. 18, whatever. You're still in high school. You know, like half of this band is actually still in Form 2 and Form 3. And that is really, really commendable. You guys, you need to work, though, on letting each other shine, okay? It's not about individuals. So Bryson, step back and don't sing, because you're not a singer. So don't sing in the harmonies, because it's disturbing the harmony, okay? Bruno, learn how to use a mic, my friend. You guys, I'm going to kick your knees a bit, and then next year, let's see where you're at, okay? See? Okay, thank you.
Victor Bosingwa. Victor, where are you? Are you using a track?
Yeah. Sinanga udumi, sikuangi na maringo, mimi wa ushago. Nangoja track. Usinite chokora, usinite chokora, kama kwako sija chokora, usinite chokora, maisha yangu ni Mola najua. Track. Kila mara mimi naenda church, mimi kumsaka God, lakini bado mwanisema tu. Maisha yangu ni Mola najua, hata kama nimesota kiasi kwamba nimekonda, majirani kunisuta, moyo wangu tamaa takata. Usinite chokora, kama kwako sija chokora. Maisha yangu ni Mola najua. Ndugu yangu, mali hata pesa wajiona umetosha. Una mali hata pesa wajiona umetosha. Una mali hata pesa wenzio kuwatesa. Unajifanya ni hatia tena.
You need drums. Right, someone on the stage, kidogo. Okay, we're running short of time, so what we need to go back into discussions. But before we do that as well, anyway. While he's setting up, what we're going to do is take a very short, so let's set up the stage to share knowledge. And while we're and this is what we do. That's what we do to the extra hall. We have what we're trying to do is right? So before, all right? Yes, sir.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Good afternoon. Yeah, this is Vombo Systems with a piece of art by the name Katinda Ngoni. Katinda Ngoni from the Cumberland. as you can say, to be. Okay, it was
Innovation. Right with the immediately decided to pick the call.
Song.
YouTube.
Come on. So, he's one of my mentors and friends. He's also masterminds and music. Thank you. Here you go. So, all of you, and we wanted to play one scholar given. And so that 100%. Not wonderful ladies. Actually, I want to call your name. Goes.
Guys, come on, 100%.
So nothing special on my own. I walk on water, and I've never come out from the around me.
For a moment, can we have the other judges up here, please? Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Round of applause for 4 days. How many acts?
So, sorry, the other ship, unless anybody else wants to give a ship. I have a tie for ladies that I'm going to call today, and I would like you to come. Actually, I can give you the name, so if you are here, you can come and see us. We would like to just have a short interview with you, okay? So the names are... Hold on. If you know any of these people, it's on the back of one of my judging forms. I am a disorganized person. Yes, thank you, got it. Okay, good. So the people that we would like to interview are Lorraine, who sang yesterday, Grace, and Mercy. If you are here, please come to our stand right. Speak to you, all of you, okay? For them.
Know who are producers, different talent managers in this building, and it's all about taking the art to the next level. That's what counts, all right? So we're going to jump straight and have the impact of music. We'll focus on 4 festivals. How do you sell yourself? Right? That's what we're going to do in the next few minutes. So what we're going to do right now is going to take a short break so that the stage is set up. As the stage is set up, take some time, stretch, say hi to meet a few people. So this is also to show to art into the inner way and all. Exactly 10.
And the news and din din din, jolly din din jolly zali. Anipanaendelea na sababu ya kuamini, unatakiwa uishi. Oh, din 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 din, jolly. Zen din din din, zen din, zen din din din.
Mixing the tracks back to back.
Jolly din, din 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 din, jolly din, zen din din din, jolly din, din 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 din, jolly din. Anipa nafasi kuendelea. Sababu ya kuamini, unatakiwa uishi. Oh, bila kujali wanafikiria nini. Sababu siangali nyuma na sitorudi nyuma. Fondanula kizasamja ndoto zimejaa. I'm one of a kind, never said a mess in my mind. Baby, that's it, I'm priced within me.
Sikete yule mwenye shawivu, ndiye mwenye mapenzi ya kweli kwa mwenzi, lakini pia uvumilivu na vitendo vya kara vilimuumiza. Mwenzio mimi ni mtulivu na kuiba mali ya mtu sijafunzwa. Una dhambi lawama ulonipa mimi leo na nyuma. Fikira zako ziko vibaya za kudhani ya kwamba ule demu nilimpenda. Ni kweli nilimpenda, lakini ni kama rafiki wa mtima. Haya unafanya leo, ikifika kesho tajibu nini kiama? Kwa yale yote mapendo ni kama kioo, aliyokupa niliona. Ukanyaga na kusaliti kutoka pakona. Mimi na yeye nini wa unakiji makaranga za kuonyesha mwanamke akipenda
Imeisha waita tulipatana juzi. Sikiza story chakari ni ngori, nilimuacha bila story, na ukicheza utapatana naye, patana naye, patana naye, utapatana naye, patana naye, patana naye, utapatana naye, patana naye, patana naye, patana naye, patana naye, patana naye,
Kofa mimi ni lawyer, tungu tamu mimi ni unadao hilo, stenje bado sijafika, na huyu dem zake bado sija. Patana naye, patana naye, patana
Baby, unavyokwenda muomba Mungu aleta mambo. Baby, it's so separado ni touch me.
Go kidogo, kupeleke mami jo, maisha let you go. Usikwe na pressure, like AC toto kwangu. Hello, Toronto. I love you milele, mapenzi hayaishi what matter, hey kidogo na queen wanna marry you, marry you.
She said to my life, she rather be alone and not another guy. Just want to make
This is day 4 of the introduction. Being at the front, good. I'm a VIP. Our moderator.
Really words in how much
take us through
and develop industries, different perspective. Types. One of the things that we do is recommend changes to the board, both an incubation program. Maybe I think thank you, Mr. Herman. Sorry.
Ms. Angel, presenting by medical Wani from Honduras, and has We have chapters in Panama, we have chapters in Zimbabwe, in India. So we are moving cultures because we are connecting people all over the world. We are in constant motion. We are multidisciplinary, multi-sectoral, and we are involved in absolutely every art, in music, in the visual arts, in fashion, in technology as well. So any aspect of the arts, we are involved in. Also, in advocacy for people of advantaged background, women, children, and also the disabled. We work with Alzheimer's Society of Kenya, and we are looking to music therapy, music, every aspect involved in all sectors of society a little bit more.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you, Anthony. Serge Boma, workers who have come here to perform at ONGEA this year. As we say, I will tell you more about me during the time we're going to spend together.
Thank you very much. I think we've covered that. I think jump right to this is a topic to me because it's always good to know what we're doing has impact. And my organization with different sectors within the creative space, but we focus on and fashion. So now moving to another establish impact. Does it make change? From to the matter, cultural.
I think music is at the very basis of how we live within back about even just when a mother is singing a lullaby to a child. So culture is the essence of who we are. It's what's on the inside of us. We exist together. Really, where at that point we were necessary in apartheid policies the South African government had imposed on these people in things as simple as South Africa. So even though we were not in South Africa, the songs that the South Africa I know.
Just so we can, and I think one thing so look for if you look across the room and you're in the middle of apartheid, it's what we can call that. So Makas was performing over here. I've been lucky to being anything could stop. The next shut you and put in this statement, and that just puts it on. I'd like to open it now to the rest of the panel. I don't know if anyone has a. And I think at this point, think of it collectively to make back.
Of storyline. When it comes to music, from point it's more on the storyline. What storyline are you sharing relate to it, and what is culture to them? So usually people try to look at the content in whatever composition is put out there, is published, to sort of say, do we relate to it? How do we relate to it? Does it tell us African nation or that continent? So how cautious Ugandans have become, how cautious East Africans have become in terms of they consume about it, and how it negatively or positively impacts or affects them. So as much as we also look at the impact of music, we have to also look at whether that impact is positive or negative. Yeah.
Can I jump in here? So I'm thinking about Eric Wainaina's song, Inchi ya Kitu Kidogo. I think that song speaks on both levels, to development and to advocacy. So I remember when the song came out and the controversy around them, and also the idea of censorship, against the nature of corruption in our country, and it got into a little bit of hot water because of that. So, and we were talking about a little bit in the back about how do we express ourselves. Sometimes we actually wrote a song that clearly had a lot of trouble, but it expressed sentiment of what people, as all of us, as we were and 14 people different. Just had, again, very controversial elections in the United States. So how musicians rallied around in terms of things like and Beyonce supporting the Democrats, etc. And it was also very when it was some viewpoints or missing the president was very being said.
From music, listening to a music can give you a direction, the way you want to go. We have used music to sing for independences, but after the independences, there have been some disappointments of actions, and that music has changed to say, okay, we were happy for that, but as presidents, as members of government, this is what we expect from you. Nowadays, there's other challenges, but the line we can find is that music has an impact, because now those people leading the countries need to see the really things about what we're doing, and they can almost feel it by listening to the music that is made by the countrymen. That is the point I would like to talk as the impact of music in development and the direction that development can take in the country.
Thank you very much. And I think somebody said something about identity, as in our music should serve as us showing who we are. And Herman, please.
Which is what I wanted to comment on, that if we're talking about the cultural impact, then culture is something diverse, is something big. So which means music too, including the language, fall into the culture. So if someone asks me off my head, what is Kenyan music? I'll quickly tell them that I would consume benga. If it was Uganda, I would say the one. So it has that sort of impact as Tanzanians. Our presentation, our signature. If you're a musician, someone told you have show in art like this, but they'll carry a flag, put it on the microphone. Well, some part of the is, but they just try to emphasize that the music itself falls into the cultural signature.
May I jump in just before? To bring it closer to what I was saying a bit earlier, because identity and culture, you can't have in your culture and you so just right now, if we can be deep on our, I don't know if I may ask, is there anyone from the audience? Tanzania, Burundi? Okay, it's mostly a Kenyan thing. Is there anyone farther out? I'm going to recent past amongst our countries. So Grace was quoted last half. And so for it, there's a Franco. That is a deep from here, but we have a feeling. And of course, going on, we must tend to be more careful about. I don't know if I speak right here. But now, at this level, that countryside right now might be stopped and home. And the identity, the Benga, what's our role in that development? Our role in that flow? What's our role in encouraging flow? And that just kind of did a bit. And yeah, so back to you, Grace. You can start with Magufuli.
If I can just comment on what you said, I think what you were trying to say is, how do we keep up with the time? How do we reflect that? Our identity is reflecting what is happening in our community at that particular time.
Yes.
And I think it's an interesting point, because earlier we were talking about contemporary music versus heritage music, if we can call it that way. And then somebody said, what is exactly contemporary music? And I think reflect the times, when we are able to reflect the issues that actually show who we are and what we are going through. But where is the balance between our cultural heritage and our current? What do you think is our sense of that?
I don't want to find music, so but for me, the compromise can be positive, negative, kind of, but all the nature, you owning this sort of genre, this sort of style that you're taking up, it is great when if you see or a Kenyan musician or a musician, singing down, or someone trying to speak patois and sort of your identity signature, or a reggae artist steps on stage and it's gonna be like you hear reggae music, it's all about the storyline. For traditional music, if I'm used to just the storyline, what is there to learn? How can we relate? And because markets been out across, you won't be on BET, you have some women naked popping champagne, because that is what TV wants anyone to sell. So that is where the compromise is coming from. I was having a conversation with Winyo and Nina going to have music as a continent, because this is what we need. When we talk about culture, this is part of it is, but as an East African, as someone that is a part of the community. So I feel that we just need to know what is good for us. How does it affect not only us, but the societies in which we operate and that we stand with.
Just as enough is what you've been, what happened to you till the day you were born. When we that was called out, and we looked like and all the those everybody met an elder who was West culture that you're making. And then if we want the music from West Indies, we will go and meet those guys from West Indies. Never will come and meet you. This man we month, mostly 1 year, and after you will be forgotten. Try to find what you are really. So if you still years, you will still be. Music was good. I made my culture. What happened? I want to know where I am. Listen to what I say. Listen to what my music. This music this is how it sounds. And now even this guy is from.
And depending on how you have, right? Beautiful has developed identity. And then thank you very much. You'll have to decide for later because they look, but it's a thing that will change. And you leave the other person happy. And when they now mentioning
umbrella to belong to us was all of them happening at once. So I saw I didn't see opposition to laugh at me because they say, well, you're not really Kenyan, you're not really Swazi. You all belong in different places, but you never do really belong. So tying into this with globalization, we live in a generation who we are. We decide what our culture be. Our predecessors, people who have lived in the past, have given us a reference in terms of sound, in terms of language, in terms of buildings, in terms of everything that connotes culture. But we are living in made available and exposed. So from the past, and I also run by, and I'm also in a movement from Cuba, but with very, very strong African with an electric guitar. We live in such a globalized, such a melange. Part of it is back about what it can be. I say, I'm compromise enhances and the best. Everybody knows, has everybody the reed dance? So the reed dance is basically a celebration. Young girls come from all over, and traditionally what they used to come and do was to repair the Queen Mother's hut. But it's a time of dancing and celebration, and the influence kinds of music on sort of half-dressed naked women. Now in the reed dance, when they dress, they wear, and that's it. They don't wear anything else. Their breasts are exposed. Everything in their anatomy is exposed. But if you look at how girls dance in a hip-hop, video, and how you see, and if you see all these thousands of young Swazi girls who are dancing with reeds and they're doing the Swazi, she throw because of Swaziland, to me, of young African, to bring a sense of when you do it on a place where when you come to the you decide coming and the sense of identities as young Swazi girls. And when I was, the messages were still always bringing young women living in Swaziland, women of identity, a sense of self. But as they dance, they do traditional dances and they'll throw in a dub in the middle of it. Is it not expressing that way? We decide.
I think if I may jump in there.
1 minute.
Yeah, what Fez is saying is that if I personally look at images of Swazi dancing, because I know that culture in that part, so then we have to really respect where is culture appropriate and where do you do it. People then music that is can be with us, the music that is
Out of time. The message that we're trying to.
You have a point. That's a wrong balance. End up from what I'm trying to involve every way. If you go back, let's think about you. Develop and walk up. There would be if anyone went and wakes up today, they'll have a hard time catching up with everything, right? Uber is common sense. In 2012, it wasn't. How applications work on smartphones, that's 12 years for this to be fixed. So this is 5. 2012 would have been about 10 years. So 2002 is a phone. And then between 2002 and 2020, mobile phones became common sense. From 2020, not. Because from 2002 to 1982, you could keep in 1982 and kind of catch up. 1982, the world. In 1942, you have been asleep, hundreds for you to compare. You'd have been for you to another 2 years in the world. Down the world.
What was talking about with a community and a culture, we want it also has, I call it with the part. Then, let's fight.
The periods can change. You may see things that living. He too is living the same problems that I am living. And I am using my own skills, not what is working now, what is bringing money now. thinking about, even though I have questions here, you know, we have the group was created in 19. The only group that will live how success they have not come back, my friend. I know because of money.
Serge, they want to out of that.
And music can be interconnected, can understand, and at the same time feel at home.
Herman, you want to take it?
We usually say language is key, but it's not about the language. It's the storyline. Today when I watch my Cameroonian brothers and sisters dancing and singing and chanting, I don't understand or understand the language that they're speaking or singing in, but I can read the emotions, the energy, the vibration within the room to then carry the storyline, to know that this is a song in a forest, this is a song in their land, this is a song about sadness or happiness. So then how do we portray that? This is what I would encourage you to champion, you know. And if you want to sing in your language, do it. But let it come from you as you know. Sing from your heart. When you write as a performer, when you write on stage, it's easy to influence people. It's easy to reach out to people because people can feel what you felt, that spark. You know, and say you feel languages that are, and why don't you write and sing or do your compositions in those languages? And my answer is usually the same, that I want to reach out to a bigger audience. So it is in the storyline, whereas language is key, language is rich, you can use that too. But any language, if well crafted and the storyline is there, you will sell. You will influence people, you will touch people, you'll reach out there.
Anyone would like?
Yeah, to respond, one of the greatest songs, well, the most famous song in Cameroon is Asi Bonanga. We don't know what he's saying. He says Asi Bonanga. It's touches somewhere. For my proper wedding, the entrance of my wife was done by a South African song. I told you yesterday. I don't know what she's talking about, but I just know that for my wedding, I want that song. And all the church was crying, but they didn't understand a single word of what was said. Even the singer, she just wrote the lyrics. That is the power of music. It's not about language. Even some American songs that they sing in English, I'm not sure that you, English speaking, you understand what they say. But it seems like, oh yeah, Buku take a second break. I want to go to second side to play support before tomorrow. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a sensation. You know, it's not a speech when you want, but you have to feel it. And after that, when you feel it, when you go in the same, when you feel it, it's good.
Thank you very much. We're about to finish. We have a couple minutes left. But I would like to just, from everybody within the panel, I would like to have the last word from you after this discussion and moving forward. What would you like to leave the audience with?
As a musician, I would like to tell the musicians here, being musician is a blessing. I have come from very far to come and share my music with people. Music of borders. You as musician must try to find, what can I say? What is my speech around all the speeches of guys making music all around the world? What will the world retain as me as musician? What have I done? What have I given to the world to become what you call in French immortel? Yeah. What can I do? What is going to be my contribution to the development of human beings? Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed of what is your culture. Even when some people laugh on you, just be trust of what is moving inside your body and wants to move out from you by your fingers or your mouth. Be what you want to be. Become the dream you want to see. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much. Desi?
Mine is just to say that It's not an accident that we are in this room today and that we're living in this generation. It means that God has a message for each and every one of us. And the message I have is important for you guys, and the messages that you guys have are important for me. So I feel as if music for me specifically is to discover what that is, and to, like Serge said, leave a legacy in my generation. Not a legacy for me necessarily, but a legacy that will build our nation, that will connect us with one another, and that will see us just be better human beings. We live in exciting times. There's so many awesome things that are going on, musically, culturally, technologically. I don't think we should waste the opportunity, but as musicians, speak into those things, speak into technology, discover what is being invented out there, leverage all of it, use it, and especially as Kenyans, as Africans, to transform our continent, because I think we have something special, and what we have needs to be heard by the rest of the world.
Thank you very much. Levi?
Thank you so much. I think the one summary I would bring out from what I've learned from the panel is there's a level of sincerity that we must really, really sing from the heart. As Fezi said at the beginning, when a mother sings a lullaby to their child, they have a statement to make. And I use the gentleman over here at the beginning. You have a statement. Your statement is unwavering. It doesn't matter what happens. 60 years later, your statement will be the same. I think that's true. As Grace said, she works in empowerment and advocacy, getting people. And the storyline, as Herman has told us, when you have a story to say, it's your story. And finally, from me, I would like to say is listen. Listen. There is hardly anything that we have to say that hasn't been said before. We've been on earth for thousands of years. And when you're young, you feel like you know something that the world has never known. But actually, listen. So as we produce, listen to each other. Listen to each other from the heart. Listen to another artist, spoken word. Listen. Because the truth is out there, and we have a job of preserving it for the future, and that means we have to get it from the past. Let's listen to each other.
Thank you very much, Herman.
Since today is the last day of ONGEA this year, I would say feed your minds, search for knowledge. Think about your spiritual age each day. When you associate with people, what you learn from them, what you benefit from them, As a young person, I don't know how old I am physically, but I know how old I am spiritually, based on the people that I associate with. So who are you walking with? Who are you talking to? Who is influencing you? What are you watching? What are you... Come to how you compose and influences it. Or causes to rather Dofan of what's a lot about. You're going for elections, talk about peace. Tell Kenyans not to attack each other. We don't want to see that. We want peace. We want, as an artist, you're the culture, you're the underground underdog that has to look for that content, those creations, and spread them out so that people can be peaceful, people can be happy, There's all this is up to date and look at things. Another thing is you have to be the people look at you, they don't have to ask you, they just have to see through your ways. So if you are a coach, know that people are watching, society is watching, the world is watching. What are you feeding in your community? What are you producing? What are you putting out there? Then besides that, I would say utilize the resources available to you. Some of you came here with issues, as artists. The answers are here. The people to help you are here, but probably you're ignoring them. Probably you're underestimating or prejudging them. Get to know who they are, get to know what they do, and I guess that's why we have stalls out there, that's why we have all these people around. Talk to them. You never know who's going to change your world, but know what you count for, know what you want. Today is the last day of ONGEA, so should we expect that this is the last day you work with FAT? Probably the FAT office's office, so walk in, address whatever you want to address, or suggest whatever you want to suggest. Last time we had a topic from Macadam. So probably he talked to FAT and said, I want this topic to be addressed at ONGEA or through their platform, whichever. So we're saying that use all these organizations that have been coming up, the Conservatoire, your project, her work, every organization that is here, I'm purely and surely aware that it is working with artists. It wants to work with you. So how are you working with them? Then finally, I would say diversify. If as an artist you don't diversify, you'll be frustrated. If you want to live as a superstar artist, sign 360, just chilling in the house and watching TV, to wear your makeup or your bling bling and go rock a show at night is not going to happen in Kenya or East Africa. You have to be on grind as you create, you know. So if you're creative, then be a creative, have a prolific mind, you know. As a culture practitioner, I am a photographer. I do other things too. And I'm a poet as to fun, you know. So then, if you can't do it, then seek knowledge on how you can do it. So diversify. Otherwise, it hurts me when I see artists when they have no other alternatives, you know. You're called to perform in a bikini party, you have to do it because you don't have money. Your landlord is on your door, so find something that can help you.
Thank you very much. I do not think there's anything I can add on top of everything that we have covered today. It has been an amazing session. Thank you very much to all of you here and for sharing your experiences, for sharing your knowledge, and thank you very much for the audience as well. I am going to conclude this session for today. Thank you very much, and I'm going to welcome our MC now.
She said to I and I, she rather be alone and not another guy. Hey, she said to I and I, Camilla can't jump, want to make her fly. How in so we sing, sir. Bam bam banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana oh bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana bam a million times in a bam banana. Girl next door. And when she came, she said she no go mind. Boy, would you give me some? I saw some bam bam banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam. She wanna body what she legal out, but the way she over say I'm now wanna just do so. You better want come over right here, you know you better come and give me some bam 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 bam. I don't wanna hurt you, babe. I don't wanna hurt you, babe. Oh gosh, bam bam banana bam banana banana oh bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana bam a million times in a bam banana. She wanna bounce with the naira and the dollar and the pounds. See, she wanna bounce with the naira and the dollar and the pounds. So bam bam banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam. She said to I and I, she rather be alone and not another guy. Hey, she said to I and I, Camilla can't jump, want to make her fly. How in so we sing, sir. Bam bam banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana bam bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana banana oh bam banana bam banana bam 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 banana bam banana bam a million times in a bam banana.
kidogo, right boy, would you give me some, give me some more? Sorry, give me that, you got me right like this, sleeping with a girl next door.
Mshikaji wangu waipisikia, mshikaji wangu waipisikia, mshikaji wangu waipisikia. Mtoto mmoja nilimtumia, anasema tumfuate Moro, huyo anapotoka Wapogoro. Yeko ninasije, tukimfuata tuonekana wadhaifu. Wewe unaonaje, wewe umechukuliaje, kama mtoto hajashuka da. Anasema kudada hatuweza, kwa nini? Yaweza kukumbeza, yeye kwa sababu yuko skuli. Akimaliza mbona itakuwa shwari. Sifanye na uhakika we chege, sikuonekana sisi ni mabwege. Labda kwa chuka mbaya, na kitu itakuwaje. Mambo safi kwa huku na noti, kesha kudada cheki mtoto blueberry. Toto safi kwenye feed kila kitu kosi, inga na udevu kiteki mikosi. Sana vipi chege tele Moro.
Hello guys, music there. Can we please fill the very front seats, please?
It's okay, we don't buy it, so just come forward. Like, it'll make us look better when we're streaming, so come through and pay respects to the chairman over here, who's got dressed up for the occasion. Thank you for joining us, Martha.
Check. DJ. A very good afternoon to you. Hi guys. We're so grateful that you came for this particular session. It's basically talking about how to get booked for festivals. The main topic here will be festivals and how to get yourself, especially as an artist, your brand outside Kenya. So, how many people in here are artists? Wasani? All right, so that's a good number. Our panel today consists of some very interesting people. First, I'll be your host, your panel leader, Sheila Kwamboka. Of course, Industry Night, Homeboys Radio. You can catch me before the 7 p.m. plug. Yeah, for real. Yeah. Have you ever listened to the show? Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to our panelists. On our left-hand side, we've got Eric Karinga. And so we've got, representing South Africa, we got Sil from Moshito. really want us to know what Mushito is about.
My name is Tsepon Zimande from Mushito. Mushito, it's a music conference that's happening every year, yearly, in South Africa. It's formed by associations in South Africa, the music industry associations, your producer association, collecting society, independent record, your promoters.
More is Franklin, who's the defective international, which is based. Tell us about it.
So it's an honor to be here, and I thank the organizers for inviting me. Many of you will be familiar with Sub-Sahara, the label here, Suzanne Guchukia and several other, Camp Mula and other well-known artists. I have a very keen interest in promoting Kenyan music outside of Kenya and promoting it abroad throughout Europe and in other markets. So part of my purpose in being here at this conference was to look at how we can engage and start to build some bridges for Kenyan artists in other markets.
Fantastic. I'm sure that's something artists who are sitting here are very interested in. All right, moving to the right, we've got Jess White, who's a director at Akum Agency, which is based in Mozambique. You were telling us that you do festivals in Mozambique as well.
Yes, so Akum Agency is a creative production and booking agency. So I work with festivals in Mozambique and Southern Africa, cross-cultural, contemporary urban festivals. And as a booking agent, I work with artists from all over the continent, Kenya, Ghana, Mali, South Africa, Cameroon. And I look to help them take their music around the continent and also into the markets in the Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere.
All right, we're going to talk more about festivals. And last but not least, we got Marta Dobos, who's the programmer at Cross Culture Festival. That's in Poland. I want to hear about that.
Actually, I'm the programmer of the Cross Culture Festival, which is a city government festival run since 13 years in the city of Warsaw. And we present music from all over the world, also from the African continent. And that's what I'm doing since 10 years. And from last year, I co-founded an organization in Lisbon, Portugal, that is managing artists and also booking, managing worldwide. We have a few artists from the Portuguese-speaking world, also African artists from Guinea-Bissau and Angola. And also we represent artists as booking agency for the Portuguese-speaking world, we can say.
All right, so I want to first turn to our audience. The first question I want to ask you as artists, how many of you have heard of any of the festivals that have been mentioned on stage before today? One person, two. Which one do you know about? All of them. All right. Jess White, the Akum Agency. All right. Jess, just to start with you, as an artist, how important is it to be on the festival circuit?
It depends. Like, it depends at what stage your career is. It depends on your plan as an artist. It depends on, like, the region you're looking at. A lot of things. So, going to play a great festival.
When you choose, or what should an artist in Kenya know about what they need to get that spot?
So the festival I work on in Mozambique is called ASGO Festival, and we program about 25 artists each year. About 2/3 of the artists we program are from Mozambique. So that leaves about 7 or 8 performance slots available for international artists. As Mozambique is a Portuguese-speaking country, we look to the Lusophone world. So each year we look to bring an artist from Angola, Cape Verde, Brazil, if we can. So then that means we've got about 5 slots open. We're part of a touring circuit of 5 festivals, and as part of that we have regional exchange. So each year we program an artist from Reunion Island, from Swaziland and South Africa as part of the circuit. So then that means we have about 3 slots open from the rest of the world. So when we're looking at that, we're looking for artists that will complement the lineup. They don't have to be a headline artist, they can be unknown. They don't have to be any genre, because we're a non-genre specific festival. Our audience is young, Mozambican, but we can put jazz there, we can put maribanta, we can put Afro house. It all works.
Eric, I just want to several.
I just want to add on what on your question is how important for artists to be on a festival is. You don't have to look at the festival as a structure. You must break it down. Especially South African festivals where we work very close with media. We work very close with a lot of promoters. So when you're an artist, you're coming to a festival in South Africa, you must always think beyond the festival. That it might be opening doors for you to other promoters. It might be giving you a platform to a radio station that you couldn't reach at that time. Because we work with 20, like SABC has got 26 radio stations. And South Africa has got one of the biggest radio stations, which is Ukhozi FM, with 7.8 million listeners a day. So that's the market. So be beyond the first time myself and launch career. So it's very important for an artist to understand also the issue of the geography of the area that they're going to and prepare themselves in terms of who are they want to speak to when they're on stage. The way you package your music when you're going to especially a place where you don't know what's happening, get more information. Yeah.
So as an artist who's seated here, the first question for me is like, okay, it's very important to be part of the festival circuit, to be in as many festivals as possible, because on top of getting into, say, Mozambique, you're going to learn the culture, you're going to understand the people, and chances are the music will be able to penetrate there. But Eric, speaking of Rwanda, which is just our neighbor next door, how many artists, say, for example, have you worked with from Kenya in Rwanda?
From Kenya, over the last 6 years that I've been involved on the scene, I would say, I don't know, you know, I would say like less than 10.
Less than 10?
Less than 10, which is more than once a year, if you look at it.
Okay, so why, how we're talking Mozambique, we're talking, what is it the artist?
It's not clean. Also on the direction that the festival wants, you know, do they want to go to that road of like really grow and being involved with the music industry and the pop commercial aspect of it, or do they want to keep a certain artistic angle to the festival to make, you know, to become a platform for artists to showcase the new talent, up and coming artists, or do they need to have like big name headliners so they can get the sponsors, so they can do the festival? There's different aim. So what I would say is that for the artists, they need to make their own research and find out what festival is happening where, who is behind it, what is the capacity of the festival, and really understand that a platform of a festival is a promotional tool for themselves to reach new audiences. So we waste a lot of time as bookers, especially in Rwanda, which is a very, you know, embryonic type of scene. We spend a lot of time back and forth negotiating about money. And the capacity of a festival, when they need to do, depending if it's for 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days, we sometimes need to deal with 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 acts a day. So we don't really have the time to go in through one-to-one negotiation. Sometimes some festivals have the capacity to. You need to know how your research, and send your stuff. Be ready. Have your website, have producer to your phone. You know, when they're not reliable, they wait 3, 4, 5 to answer an email. There's piece missing that the promoter needs to look into the criteria if they align. So it's about the professionalism of the artist, the resilience to be seen. Will have there's a correlation between the artists that you see on festivals and the level of professionalism.
Right. So I think what's coming out clear is that if you're an artist and you're thinking of getting onto the festival circuit, money shouldn't be your driving force.
Yeah, I would just like to echo what Eric was saying. The degree to which you're professional and how you handle yourself, if you put yourself in the shoes of the festival promoter and organizer, they're very busy people with getting everything they need to get together with their festival. They also need to work with professionals, and they also need to, you are a risk as a performer because they have a lot of money riding on their festival if it's at a certain point. So they need to be sure that who they're going to put on. Are you going to bring a crowd? Is your music going to be appropriate for their festival? What can you contribute and what will you contribute to their festival? So you need to be able to answer these questions for yourself as an artist. And as Eric said, do your research. See which kind of festival you really belong to. Your family, as it were. And sometimes it may not be appropriate for you. You get one shot at this, so make it the right shot. So when you're an artist, make sure you have all your ducks lined up. Make sure that you're professional. You've got great photographs. You've got a great electronic press kit. All your material gets to them on time. They ask you for a rider, you go right back to them, and that will give you a lot of scope.
All right, I'm going to come back to you, Marta, just to discuss how is there sort of like a specific sound that makes it to specific festivals? Like if you take to Poland, for example, is there a specific sound, or are you going to go with the person you hear already? We're going to get back to that, but Shepo. When someone is, what criteria do we use to select the artists that are on the festival circuit? Because what you'll agree with me, when we go to most of the festivals, it's not the Calligraph Jones, it's not the pop artist, the popular artist who's at the festival, but it's it's probably some person that we've never heard of before.
I think we need to, like Eric has said, it's business. If you're a businessman, in any business, we work on concept. You have a business that you are following, why you are doing a jazz African, where you won't have a foreplay group or Bob Marley, because it's not jazz, it's an African reggae, a business plan to fit. Now you can't just take an artist because in Kenya is popular, but if it doesn't fit that criteria, you don't take, because when you sell a concept, even sponsors, they follow. The people who are investing money and their time and their ideas is because of the concept that you went out and sell. You don't put an artist because he's radio friendly or he's popular. No. And then when you do, like South Africa has got a lot of genres. There's Kwaito. Just because Mendoza is a Kwaito artist, is big, is selling over 400,000 copies, we cannot just slot him on a jazz festival or on a Maskandi. Maskandi is one of the traditional music in South Africa. So we work on concept and on the business concept. So it's not for willy-willy who wants to go in, they can go in, no.
And also, just, to add on that, in terms of content, because you might find, festivals are for artists, especially who are trying to make their footing in the music industry. And, the festival is there to expose you. If you don't have, say, is an album important? Because, say, for example, in Kenya, not a lot of people produce albums, and especially now that we're going digital where people are consuming singles more than they're consuming albums. Does that affect the criteria of choosing someone for a festival?
The album is important, but there are also artists that, like I'm a producer, and I've got a big act who's performing maybe here in Kenya. And then I bring something that one of my junior artists to come and to expose and test the market. And when he performs, people like him. And then Jazz sees the artist and he says, do you have an album? No, I don't have an album. But the way the artist presents on stage deserves to be on stage. There are artists who've got albums, but when they need to perform those albums, they don't. deliver. There are artists who will never be on live stage because they are dead on stage. There are album artists. There are studio artists. They end up there. And there are artists who don't make hits, but when they present on stage, they make wonders. So the album is important for the promoter to understand the genre of that artist, to get the feel what type of artist is.
Marta, coming back to you, what is one of the best artists that you've booked in terms of performance from Africa, and why?
Well, I don't want to say the names, but I've booked like lots of great artists from Africa, from other continents. And what I wanted to add, what my colleague said, I think it's not the question of money to be booked on the festival. I'm not looking for cheap artists. I'm looking for great artists. And no matter what it costs. Of course, we have our budget. And we are, like, for example, our festival is public funded, so we have to explain to the city government why we choose this artist and not that artist, and why this costs this money and not that money. So I have to defend it myself, and I have to take a risk that the artist that I will present on the festival will bring me the public, and they will have the interest of the media, and will really mark the festival with his name, his music, and his performance. So for me, it's the most important the quality of acts for alive. City government, which is very unusual in the
national radio stations, entertain and educate the industry, the people of South Africa. So Mushito is 100% funded. Yes, we do get private companies come, but we're very sensitive on that, because now we don't want to take the sponsors that are supposed to sponsor to our members. They came through as an association. Now, when we are going out to Coca-Cola, to MTN, to private to look, they cannot fund Mushito and fund individual companies. So we are very clear that the government needs to educate, and it's our tax, which is why I was saying to the Kenyan guys, all the artists and the record companies, all the associations here, they need to stand up and fight with their government that their tax must see working for them.
Jess, just to bring us back, because you actually run a festival, and I know usually as an event organizer, when you set out to do something, you do it maybe the first time, the second time, before you know it, a festival that started out as a jazz festival or a musical sorts, that being so it's lost, and sort of how to keep your going on, because I know there's people here to know.
Started by a Mozambican called Paulo Shibanga, who played in another band called Tune the Volume, both of which formed in Kenya. Started 7, started 100 people. In the second year, 2 venue audiences. Now constantly have and we make sure that we are not just music related. We have dance, film, an artistic area, and we have all change for to the festival. So it's all about culture, retention of culture, promotion of culture, and value and promote culture.
As Sub-Saharan International, and of course you said you're very passionate about booking artists. I know there's artists who are saying, you can be able to get you. Well, you were helping Kamula get their music out there.
Yeah, I wasn't personally involved in that, but Sub-Sahara was.
Sub-Sahara.
Yeah.
So there's something that I think Eric mentioned, that when you get into the country, Chef also mentioned the same thing. I think he also mentioned the same thing. When you get into the country, it's not so much about just doing the festival and getting the check and getting out. It's about getting in there and making sure as much as possible come to your festival. Because I need
to make sure that they engage. It actually has checked. If you can do, you'll be your to go. Don't job that you request. You're going higher than to do, and they're your job to do the research on that festival. You might find that he doesn't only do one. He's got a whole selection of them. So it might be worthwhile here. Now, this guy's I'm not relevant for this. I might be at the others, and I think that's very important. Is your level of professionalism and your sense of your business. You know, I talk about the business side of it because ultimately what we're looking to do is to create sustainable lives for artists. Like Jess, you were talking about culture and saying that, you know, our core goal is culture and the promotion of local culture. And that has to be sustainable for us. They have to make a living at what they're doing. So they have to look at the breakdown loads.
Different platforms.
First, you in that if he has an intro and the number one is going to happen, you know, serial, look to the website, get your research, but just be more, if you're shy, because celebrating your, you know, I'm open, just like the opportunity to festival. Without an agent, without a record label, simply as you get the opportunity once. So get your, and we're going to meet at least one or two that can a day.
I realized that I want us to focus on the digital aspect of that music, how the artist can be able to reach you on these different platforms. How do you feel technology, the festivals is simple? I want to be part of, you know, I have to wine, I have to and also with what you're saying, I wanted to come to Rwanda. I carry I'm from Nairobi. I can always get on digital and get someone who's working in that sphere.
Let go online. More things I cannot phone on. Understand stations that are there, this type of music. Contact teacher is not going to do that for you. Try to arrange meetings as a man, pre-sell the artist before he can get there. Before he can get there. Because as Mshito, we will organize interviews for certain artists that we invited because one, they might be costly for us. Two, they've got an impact. We know why we want them to interview. We're not going to be able to pile up all interviews. We'll see.
So if we're looking, let's say I want to Kenyan starting in yoga, I look at all the barriers and try to work with them. A certain teacher will work with this. So in other words, and say, oh, have so that every puzzle fits in, so that every single works, unless we really, they have got all their components lined up. Cannot micromanage them. And really may like we have to network services and management services so that we can really get those artists launched in a good way and a positive way, and that is good for everybody. So our philosophy, if you like, is for everybody. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for us. It's painful to be about things. You know, they're able to deny vessels, but what really has to be looked at, which is where the management comes in, is does this work? Yeah, you're playing, you know, one level where you get great exposure, so maybe to play for less. But then your manager has to be very hard-nosed about this and say, right, okay, I'm not going to pay.
Owners receiving. I was like, cool, bro. Like, send me some tunes. That's what I wrote back to them. But it was like
and another email to say, what's your address?
Yeah. So like, communication. Like, it's a simple thing. Like. Has because they have to be great. I'm sure. Like most
that artist because more of education to internet promotion for the event. So I've got my own sponsorship, which is running with the marketing, and I'm giving you a platform to sell some of your tracks that are not getting airplay on my slot that the sponsors have paid for. But you are saying I must pay you for an interview, which is, I find it very nonsensical.
You have to say about that.
The artist agrees.
Market houses may helping that are not Mushito. They don't want one hit to hate for interviews.
But Chepa, let me ask you from perspective. I mean, as I know, that's a revenue platform, right? Putting your check for the event, that's a revenue platform.
And the other thing that you're not you're lots of, so once you see the motor, who is they're more likely to invite you, courteous, professional, you have a great attitude. If there are problems, rather than complaining and creating a big fuss, you're actually, very nice about it. Nice to the staff and the crew. They're working incredibly hard on your behalf. So be nice and really appreciate. Thank you note after the gig.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Eric, before we get into a Q&A, any questions you got, just hang in there.
To follow those examples, we had this, we've been on, these artists, growing festivals, work, the everyday parts we have, artists. Here, we had the budget for the local artists, so, because you need to hear that. So we went back and the name fell out. The program on the 2-3 days before the event, it's what? Headline, and somehow his mind must have thought, he's the one taking us. So this is what happens sometimes, be nice about it and understand the value of this platform. If you made your real prepare others to be in show that festival. That was like a skill should trust to that some on that stage. Sometimes it's the responsibility of the artist to find out. Maybe we have a list of poems that we are aware of, criteria, we do programming, but somebody a phone call, a little SMS like, hey, I want my link video, let's write up about it. And effect, when somebody was missing or somebody drop out, and that person, if he gets...
I'll just say 2 words. Use Twitter. Twitter is a fantastic resource for promoters, busy people.
Twitter in Mozambique, don't use it, nobody's on it.
So, in Rwanda, use it. Rwandan on Twitter, RWOT.
All right, we're going to get into a Q&A session. I see there's a question here.
My name is Milliam from Music in Africa. I'd like to know if you consider the size of the band when you're considering how much to pay, because I've been to festivals where somebody who plays with a 7-piece band comes alone, and then suddenly you've watched them back home, and then on stage they're a flop. And the people from that country may not know that this person usually is so lively on stage, but probably because of the budget of the festival, you have somebody who usually is very vibrant actually end up flopping.
All right, I think let's start with the Jess and get to Shepo.
So when I'm contracting a band, I'm already asking, how many is in your tour party? Are you 5 on stage with a sound technician and a tour manager? What instrumentation? You get their tech spec, you're getting all that information. So if they arrive at your festival and there's only 2 people on stage, they're in breach of contract. As a general rule, I don't program artists I have not seen live. And the thing is, as soon as I've seen you live, I know what your performance is. And if you come to my festival in a different format that hasn't been discussed, you're once again in breach of contract. So as an artist, you need to be professional and upfront and honest. Sometimes you talk with groups and they're a 10-piece group. And the budget doesn't allow you to bring 10 people. And they say, we want to come as 5 and get 3 or 4 local musicians. Last night, Rocky Dawuni, a Ghanaian artist who's been nominated for a Grammy, is based in LA, played a concert at The Alchemist. He played Sati Zabusara last week. The budget to get him to East Africa did not allow him to bring his band that he usually works with. So he found a Kenyan. The quality of the show remained the same as it would have been if he had his previous band. So it's about working with realities and being upfront in communication. Sometimes you might need to change the format to come to our festivals. But talk about it. Up at the airport in Maputo, and I'm thinking there's 12 Kenyans and 4 of you walk out. It's not going to work good.
Okay, I think we've covered that question. Question over there.
My name is Murad Ngigi, I'm a poet. My question is, to the government-sponsored festivals, what do you do to acts that are active, that take the form of activism because they are challenging the system? So what do you do how do you slot in people who challenge the system and the government? And also my second question is, in Kenya,
Against with Steve, do you consider that artist?
Well, has its own internal finance by sponsors, and we as a government-funded festival, we make sure that we don't consider any political issue choosing the artists and programming, and we want to stay
Well, with us, fortunately, we're in an independent country. If an artist grievances against government, it's a platform which is mshito to raise those issues. Unless you bring your own personal issues at win the thing, you don't.
And to his
Well, I'm from experience. Record owner, we're getting that people will are telling we don't know big your.
You need to understand certain is very strong on social media. So, for example, we influence like even like
No,
beyond.
I'm talking in terms of selling music. Not yet there, money. We're not yet getting here. And so we are media to communicate. But in terms of selling music, any money until you get a telephone company saying, "Can we do it? Let's secure you because they've signed you." But putting your music online, South Africa is like saying bye bye to your.
South Africa is stronger than Kenya. South Africa is making a killing out of the music business.
Yeah, now. That's a telephonic you, like on YouTube, or you just only on your own make money.
That's why I'm asking, how are telephone companies connected to the music business in South Africa? Are they that strong? Or Kenya is much stronger than them?
Which is what he's just
That's what I'm saying. South Africa, if you want to make money, teams know how to lock for piracy and people downloading illegally. So we're just using that platform.
And so one of the biggest reasons why South Africa is behind Kenya in the digital space is it costs double the price in South Africa to buy 1 gig of data as it does to Kenya. Double the price. So the telcos down in South Africa are making much more money off data. The thing is, in Tanzania, cheaper than Kenya. If your music and your audience is in Tanzania, you're going to get more views than in Kenya. And in Kenya, then you is how you can to boost your career.
Sorry, my sister. In fact, at the moment in South Africa, we've got a campaign that says hashtag data must fall because it's expensive.
Right, I think we should also ask for the same thing. We can have.
Hi, my name is Jackie.
I have to post them that question because each festival has a different criteria. As a booking agent, because I have two hats, when I'm approaching festivals, I am looking at least 9 months out. At the moment, I am contacting festivals for a 2018 tour of Canada and the US. I research and I realize that they start looking 12 months ahead. At the time, I talked in Zimbabwe about their festival, which is the beginning of May. So there's no one tool. You need to do research and be adaptable.
I feel like there's one question that we have that you said your festival is which is more black. How much revenue, for example, because this, of course, the state has to look at having festival. Does it bring tourists? And Kenya, like just Nairobi, needs a state-sponsored, festival. So, what are the things that the festival has brought for the city?
Festivals, of course, bring people to the city. In our case, Warsaw is not like the most touristic place in the world. So the idea of the festival is to offer culture to the citizens. So most of our public are from Warsaw, and we bring also people, it brings people from all over Poland to 1 week of the festival. But there are places in the world that, like Sauti za Busara Festival, that brings lots of people just for the festival. So this might be city origin, develop tourism to the in the city, bring people to now.
Jess, you want to add on to that?
So from the Glasgow Festival is part of which is and we're 5 festivals. The Fire Festival, Swaziland, Zaki in $1 million million. What into the economies in our region is just over $9 million. And like, the ratios aren't the same because my festival in Mozambique, 90% of our audience are Mozambican. Bushfire Festival, which is a small country of less than 1 million people that sells 12,000 tickets, 70% of the tickets they sell are from outside the country, which means that across the weekend of bushfire in Swaziland, every hotel, guest house, campground, that is the same. But this has been arguing with the Zanzibar government 10 years. Bushfire Festival the same. So, without conversation, like Mike Strauss in the Music in Africa AGM in Addis Ababa said that we need to look at calling it creative, because look at ourselves. Then when we take this conversation, we say, these are the hard facts. This is how many people we employ. The Minister of Culture in Mozambique a month ago to argue for visas to be waived. Last year I spent about $5 visas. Right. And the thing is, I was like, just waive that cost. I don't want money from you. Just waive that expense. They were like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, but my festival, $1 million to the Maputo, 300, and every contractor, supplier is Mozambican. So it's so positive for the Mozambican economy. It's not recognized, but
they realize that music is a key currency. It brings tourism. So they're really looking at artists in a different way. And the government now has a cultural budget to actually export Irish artists so that they can promote, so they become music. So it's a starting point. But the government has to buy into it, as you were saying.
Okay, and we've got different topics like what is culture, what's the importance of culture, Uganda doing the money that we get from the getting they get transferred. Big money. Mshito is not big money. We make money from our different company positions. That's where we make money. So we're not like fast people who sell tickets. We all take it just to sustain the office. So there is an office which is running Mshito.
Eric, you want to add anything onto that?
You know, we just need to look into, for example, l'Alliance française, l'Institut français. Decades, the French government have understood the importance of culture, the economic impact. It's called soft power. You know, we got hard power. You know, we use money, we use weapon to coerce and culture. Those will be the on in some of the. There's no and try to make on their own everything to be like linked around the common thread for a common objective, and then we can move forward and things become easy.
So it's a way to really make things happen.
How to push it out the up. All of us voting later this year. The importance of claim relevance as transport, education, health, because music and people sell. If you look at it's selling this culture, Kenya, Lamu, the cultural aspects of the country. So, like, culture needs to be valued the same aspect. It won't thrive.
Those are some powerful words. Just left it at a coma. Thank you so much. Sorry.
A bit of my festival all over. Just for singing instrumentalist bands. Where does spoken word or poetry lie when it comes to being booked for?
There's a young man just in front of you. We had an experience in Kigali. The festival is running. We are booking who we know. We made a research. We have some sort of application process, word of mouth. People contact us. We go through the programming. We 3 months before the event, we're kind of happy with the direction that it takes. And as I was mentioning earlier, there's an email that comes through. Herman, Slim MC. There's an email that comes through. What about the festival? I've got something to offer. He proposes his presence to the festival. We said, listen, the the programming is done, the budget is over, we don't have that much, I like what you do, but we can't really accommodate. It's like, don't worry, I'm going to be in the country, can you just make sure you get like 5 or 10 minutes, and I will fit wherever, morning, afternoon, evening, I'll be there. Yes, thank you very much. The budget is very tight. Thank you for the offer. We can offer you a fee for that the nice offer. Even the accommodation, logistical budget is over. Again, proactive artist. Don't worry, I've got some friends. I know where to stay. I just want to be there. I just want to be on that platform. He came 2 years in a row like that. So, how hard you push and how adaptable you are to the situation, always gonna make the promoter pay attention to the artist. So even if you're a spoken word artist, spoken word is a very, very, very good angle. Let me say why. Because when we have a band to program and we have a sound check to do, we have 3, 4, 5 different musicians that need to be plugged in. There's what we call during the festival, during the whole day, there's like the changeover period. So every festival, whatever act we have, we always have like a 10, 15 minutes, depending how fast the technical crew is, where there's nothing happening. So we have that thing that we call in-betweeners, and then it becomes tweeners. So if you want to have like a nice, seamless festival, you want that between that band and that band and that band, we have like bass, drum, changeover, sound check, line check quickly to be done. We want somebody to feel so much that the names can, so much that sponsor, so much that you to have performance with is very good in tweeners. So as festival,
about the same the poetry in South Africa. People, they think they can just stand on stage. My is your as a businessman to come up with different concepts. There's a lady, I think you might know her, Napo or Lebu Mashia. There's 2 ladies. They've been sustained for almost 10 years now. They are the only ones who make anybody to be interested on listening to poetry, because the way they do it, sometimes it's with drums, sometimes it's with instruments, all instruments, sometimes it's just with a keyboard. They try to make it commercial. Black man can go to a shop and say, I'm buying orchestra music. There are few black people. Now you want us in the township or in the black market to take that as business. We can't, because I'm going to lose money through you.
Depends though.
I think one of the
that was a blank for
because what the performance is, whether it's a festival or it's a club performance, at the end of the day, what someone is looking at is how you deliver performance. Whether it's poetry, whether it's new technique to sleep that is entertaining, it has to be entertaining. I think we're gonna take our last question because there's guys sitting up behind.
This is not a question. As a programmer, as a performer, as a touring artist, and as a poet, I don't agree to the word spoken word. Spoken word seems like something light to do. I'm a performance poet. A few years when I played Kigali Up, my sole movement was to make sure that festival programmers and festival managers we you better know. Kigali wanted to book me or ask on the value, I can't work with them. And that is why know your market. I know my market. I know first about don't them I am valuable. Pay for the people who have to pay hotel, everything, pay per diem fees so that you have to go.
I just want to put out as we finish Shepo, and you got a festival. Jess, I know you got a festival. And a poet, performance poet.
Performance poet.
Would you book a performance poet if you've not seen their show? Like he calls you and says, I can perform.
The very same way that we do when we take artists. They need to go through the same way. We need to know what we are booking. 2, we don't say we don't book poetry. Please bring something that people will love. There are musicians that sings, but nobody. Yesterday, there was a musician who was performing here. Everybody just stood up, went to the bar, to the toilet. There was a musician performing. I don't want that. I want my show to go like this, or to go like this. So what I'm saying, there's nothing wrong about poetry. What I'm saying,
do something that will entertain, that will make people have, let me not say entertain, have interest to pay for it or have interest to listen to it. Make your market grow.
Just right quick before Jess comes in, one thing I didn't mention to him was that when I started out, I was performing alone on stage. I didn't need anyone because I was playing voice. But now I have a 5-people band, so which means we are 6, which is a standard number that anyone that is interested
Then you become
could afford. Yeah, and I sing, and I'm an MC. So it's a collection of things that you have to put together. So when you apply, make sure you send all the material that is live, so that when someone starts putting you down, then you say, with all due respect, we are not on the same wavelength, let's not have the conversation. But at the same time, knowing what you want, that is important. But also if you receive my EPK, it says that I will perform at your festival, I will do photography, all that content goes to you, and I'll run a workshop to speak to your artists and those kind of things. So that when you are booking, you're not just booking one artist who thinks they're a superstar, they'll blaze the stage and go. There's something more.
At the same time, just to finish, because you become this, you preaching to the converted, but those advice need to be turned to the performance poet, because this is an evolving stage. You can start as a spoken word artist, then you evolve to consider yourself and to acknowledge who you are, and you call yourself a performance poet, and then at some point you're just like, you know what, I want to have a musician. I can interact with the bass player, I can interact with the drum, I can interact with the guitar. You know what, I can be on stage for an hour and a half, and with my poetry, I can make people dance, I can make... You don't want to be a spoken word artist, by yourself with the microphone. In the next 10 years, it's up to you to call yourself that. But there's an evolving stage for every artist.
I think I'm just going to end it there. Thank you guys so much. Thank all our partners and the audience. You can be anywhere you want to be. You can perform in Ireland, you can perform in Rwanda, you can perform in South Africa, perform in Poland. But at the end of the day, you can't just come there and not be prepared. Okay? I think the biggest message we had is just prepare well. Do your research.
Don't be a diva and be chill as well. And as we're coming to an end of the conference, I'd like to take the opportunity on behalf of all the speakers to thank Mike.
Ah, yes,
And
the man,
all of the
thinker.
ONGEA team for putting on this platform. Over the last 4 days, your team has been amazing to work with. It's a pleasure to hear this dialogue, this continuing dialogue. Come up and say hello, Jambo, Mambo,
What I would
Paula,
say, anyway.
all of them. We're here for the rest of tonight, so approach us.
Buy us a beer.
And also for those of you who have not registered to be voters, my friends, please go and get yourself registered to be a voter.
Because